12. Like, I feel like I'm being like walking into a bedroom with you right now. The way you talk,
I love it. I love. Well, we are live. What's really, really good, y'all? It's your boy Aaron Bevins. I'm here with the one and only, the chief cornerstone in this industry, Logan Bentley Fulmer. Y'all have, if you've been following my content, you've seen me post stuff about Logan, share some of Logan's content. Me and Logan have done multiple lives together. Every single one I feel is better than the last. And this is just somebody who is kind of like a distant mentor of me. Like I've gone to his curative title classes and taken notes and still utilize some of the things that I've learned from him years ago. And he's just an absolutely incredible person. He's in San Antonio, Texas, doing massive, massive things. Recently, just for the second time on the Real Estate Disruptors show with Steve Trang. Logan Bentley Fulmer, how in the world are you doing today, bro?
my dude, Mr. Bevins, I'm doing great. I always enjoy seeing you. It's
Likewise,
exciting.
man. Likewise, we're going to be going into a pretty exciting topic because this is something you're well known for, and that is how to make big money with messy deals. And this is something that you have just absolutely mastered. I mean, there's real estate professionals that we go to for advice, are coming to you for advice on how to handle certain situations because this is something that you're so good at, so proficient at. So y'all, I want you to, if you're stationary, take out a note-taking device, and if you're on a treadmill or you're driving or you're busy while you're doing this, then definitely come back to this and take notes on it because Logan is going to be hitting us with some practical, tactical, instructional, a tangible advice that we can actually use in our business and how to make big money with these messy deals. So before we make this happen, comment your city and state where you are in the comment section, and let's make this thing happen with a quick intro video. Right after this, we're going to get right to it. Let's make it happen.
We made it, that's facts, ayy. We the greatest, that's facts, ayy. Prices raising, that's facts, ayy. That's right. But we paid it, that's facts, ayy. I did. They hate it, that's facts, ayy. Cause we changing, that's facts, ayy. We did. Can't blame them, that's facts, ayy. Cause we made it, that's facts, ayy. Cherry on top, that's a goat, yeah. Where you been, I wanna know, yeah. Greatest story ever told, yeah. Greatest story ever told, yeah. I know you wanna look up for this. Baby, let me turn you up a bit. You said you made it through hell and back. Give me the scoop, baby, tell the facts. Don't be shy.
Yeah. We've been using that intro song for about 2 years now. And that music never gets old to me, man. Maybe I'm biased, but with that said, Logan, so exciting to have you here, man. Really quick, for those who are living under a rock and they don't know who Logan Bentley Fulmer is, can you just give us a quick intro about not even how you came into real estate, because I feel like I've done so many, like a handful of these with you, but more of how did you get into the messy title, the niche, because that's literally a niche that you look for and and are able to monetize. So how'd you get into like, okay, this is something that we're going to focus on?
Dude, this is the stuff that people don't look for when they find it in their flipping or wholesaling or whatever business. They look at this stuff and say, oh, great, bad lead. And that's why I love it. But the way it happened is I was buying land in San Antonio almost 10 years ago. And these were the deals that I would walk away from too. But at the time I was buying land for $5,000 or $10,000 a piece. In a very short amount of time, from 2012 to 2014 and 15, the price shot up to $1,000 to $200,000 a lot. And I was in the money, but I couldn't go back and get more of those because the prices were up. So what I did is I went back and looked at the best deals I did in the year and found it was the title problem deals. I solved just a couple of them just as I was trying some stuff. And I thought, those are the home runs. Let me do some more of those. So 2016 and 17, I actually focused on these. And man, those were exponential growth years, and I didn't have a big team, man. It was me and a receptionist gal, and I'd just gotten a guy that's a partner of mine now. He just started working with me. We were tiny, man. And combined, we ended up bringing in like 700,000 or 800,000 in net that year, and we didn't know anything. Yeah, and we didn't have any money, and these were all cash deals, no financing, no nothing. And when that happened, I'm like, dude, we're on to something. This is it.
So this is interesting. I did not know this. What was your exit strategy on these deals?
MLS, the best marketplace that exists.
Wait, that was your exit strategy? So you were taking them down using private money, then solving with
No,
your
so
own money?
that's one of the bigger parts is in the beginning, I didn't have as much capital and I was trying to figure out how do I make my way in this world without all this debt? Because debt scared me, especially at the time.
Mhm.
And when I'm buying these properties for $5,000 or $10,000, but they get sold for 1 to 200,000, almost everybody on here, if they're faced with a deal that's that good of a deal, they can come up with 5 or 10 grand. So I would just pay for it. And since I'm the owner, I don't have to do wholesaling. I don't have to look for cash buyers. I don't have to go to investor lift. I just have a realtor listed on the market. And to me, the listing services are like the best marketplace.
Mm. Man, that is powerful. I did not know that. I did not know that. I knew bits and pieces, but that's really, really cool. So let's get into this. Let's get into this. So first and foremost, um, those of you who are just tuning in, we're going to be talking about making money on messy deals. All right, and can we qualify what that is? What when we say messy deals, what are we talking about, Logan?
We're looking for something that has unmarketable title. So, in layman's terms, a property that can't be sold with title insurance simply.
Yep, yep.
That's it.
Beautiful, beautiful. And those of you who have been doing this for a while, and you you have your own personal graveyard of deals that you thought could close, you were excited about, and then you found out there were a bunch of heirs, 7 heirs, 2 of them are dead, and those 2 that are dead have 6 kids. One of the sets of kids is in prison, and
And one of them
all.
didn't pay his child support. He didn't pay his baby mama child support. So there's a big judgment or a lien. And before he went to prison, his car got repoed. So there's another judgment lien that he got sued by a repo company.
Most wholesalers run away from these deals, y'all, and that's just one example of a dirty title that can kill a deal. But let's talk about this. So let's hop into the first aspect of this, and that's identifying title problems. So let's get into this. So we have the deal, and now it's a matter of identifying, or are you when you talk about identifying, are you talking about specifically searching for deals that have messy title?
So in my office, we look for them. It's intentional,
Mm,
methodical. We have a program, we have lead sources. But the neat thing is, anybody who thinks they want to take a look at these, you know where you go? You go into your CRM. You go into wherever you take your notes. Even if you're not using CRM, your notepad, where you write your deals down all day long.
mm,
Every single person on this call has had a deal that's fallen apart and it couldn't close. The reason they didn't keep going after it because it might have been a wholesale deal to make $15,000 or $18,000, and you say, "Forget it, ain't worth my time." Where the goal lies is those leads are free and easy. You can call everyone you know that's in the business and say, "Do you have any deals that died?" They have tons of them. You should have tons of them. You can call the escrow officers, realtors, wholesalers. Everybody has a list of these things they can share with you. And the neat thing is, if they weren't deals at the time, it's probably because there wasn't enough spread. But let's say it was a $200,000 house and it was under contract for 170. It was going to be wholesale for 200, so you make 20 or 30 grand. Well, there's a process where you retrade folks with all of these problems, and you get the contract price down from 170 down to more like 30 to 50 grand. Now
mm.
you have $100 to $150,000 spread. All of a sudden, you might have yourself a deal, and people think they'll never take that little. I do it 1 to 200 times every year, and it happens every day in my office.
Why is this, by the way? Why is this? Because that might be a limiting belief that a lot of people have. Like, why in the world would somebody sell their property 15, 20 cents on the dollar or less?
Well, here's the kicker, man. A property is only worth what someone is willing to pay for it. But if they can't get
Mm,
title insurance, no one will buy it. So no one is willing to pay anything for it. So technically, in that moment, that property is worth $0 because there are no willing buyers. So that's when I'm negotiating with folks, that's where I start. I know you've been trying to sell this property for years. You tried to sell it to a realtor and it didn't work. You got 2 memos on file. That means you tried to sell it to 2 wholesalers and it didn't work. I hate to tell you this, but the property is actually worth $0. And they argue with me and I say, "Okay, great, prove it. How much can you get for it tomorrow?" I'm not saying that to pick on you. I'm just trying to help kind of set the expectations. The property's worth nothing until we figure out how to fix something.
Man, that's
Once
powerful.
they start to understand that they can't sell it and have tried multiple times, and then I explain to them it's actually worth zero and they come to Jesus in that moment. Now, when I start talking about giving them 20, 30, 20, 30, 40, 50,000, all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, it went from 0 to 50. I'm doing better.
So, that's actually really, really interesting. That's a nice framework. I like that. Um, the property is only worth what a person is willing to pay for it. And so right now, if nobody can move this property, if nobody can do this, your property is essentially worth $0.
Yeah.
That's like a splash of cold water in the face, right?
I always follow up though, and I deliver this calmly. Like, look, I don't. Hopefully, you don't get frustrated with me. I change my tone. I deliver it. Look, I don't want you to get frustrated with me, but I'm going to talk about some things that are based in the study of economics. I'm going to talk to you about how markets work, and it's going to sound a little off-putting, but technically it is like this. So, the house that you think is worth 170, it's actually worth zero because it's only worth what someone's willing to pay for it. I deliver it softly. I don't deliver it like all excited like I am right now. You got to be respectful and calm because think about it for a minute. Let's say you inherited some house from your dad or you bought it a long time ago, you've been living in it, it's time for you to sell it. And someone is coming to you now telling you this thing that you thought you were going to get a couple hundred for is worth zero. Like that invokes emotions. That can bring out anger. I mean, that can bring out resentment. Like that can bring out fire from people's belly. So you got to tread cautiously.
Hmm. Hmm. I love that. I love that. Good stuff. Good stuff. So now, so what you're saying is advice for those who are watching this, who you already have a database. You're like, where do I go out and find these? You're saying, no, you already have this this situation in your database most likely. And those of you who are doing this business, actually, what Logan is saying is right. How many deals have you attempted to do where you got it contracted but couldn't close it because of dirty title, or you didn't even get to the contracting because the seller knew it was a dirty title and they didn't want to work, and you didn't want to work through it after you heard the situation. So where do we go from here?
So the next thing we do is we've got to identify the problems. Now, usually what happens when you're at the step that most people are at currently, where they have these in their CRM, they tried to do the deal and it fell apart, is the title company called you and they sent you this title commitment. You looked at the Schedule C and it has all this writing and you didn't understand it all, but the escrow officer told you there's no probate been done and there's a baby daddy attorney general lien for $90,000. That's what they told you. What you have to do now is you have to go back to that title commitment and actually read what it really says and understand that. And then you've got to itemize, okay, we have two problems. There's a probate that's missing, and actually you can't find one of the people who are supposedly in heir. That's what we think. And then the other problem is you've got a big attorney general child support lien. Between those two, it's a no-go, especially because you're only going to make 10 grand wholesaling it. So now you identify those problems. And at that point, you go back and you call the escrow officer and ask him to pull it back up and help them explain it to you in a little more detail because there's just always more. So you got to identify it. And the three most common problems that I find are unresolved estates, which means someone passed away and didn't leave a will, and you got a bunch of people who claim they're heirs or owners, but no one's got proof of that. So you got an unresolved estate.
If you see me looking away, it's because I'm taking notes. I'm selfish, y'all. I'm here for me, not y'all. No, but go ahead, Logan.
You got the unresolved estates. Then you have a break in the title chain. A break in the title chain can be caused by a missing probate, but it can also be caused by a deed that was never recorded 70 years ago. Well, people have sold the property afterwards, but they didn't record this deed a long time ago, and you have a break in the title chain. And then the third most common are judgments and liens that outvalue many times the property. All these judgments and liens. And those can come in the form of a restitution lien. If you went to prison for some criminal deal and you got slapped with a big restitution lien, that could happen. You could not pay your child support and get an attorney general's lien. If your car got repoed and the creditor, like Toyota Motor Credit, filed a deficiency judgment, I mean, there are countless judgment liens out there that you're going to see. Those are the top three. So you've got to first you identify what the problems are, and you got to give a really good outline of those so you really understand, because that's basically your to-do list.
Mm-hmm. I love this. Yeah, this is one of the things I love about Logan. I won't do too much talking, y'all, more like asking questions because I'm really excited about this information. But I love the fact that Logan, you actually teach, bro. We're not just here talking about rah-rah, but I always feel like I have to take notes. But I love what you're breaking down thus far. Identify the problems. You said the next step, so step one, what I understand is, so the title company is going to let us know where the dirt is on title.
Yep.
Our job is to not take that for granted, but then to read the title commitment ourselves. And I just want to throw this out there, bro. I've coached and I'm around hundreds and hundreds of wholesalers, and I'm telling you right now that 90% of wholesalers wholesaling for years still don't know what a title commitment is. Which might sound crazy to you, but this is absolute fact. They don't know what a title commitment is. And if there's dirt on title, they're simply like, well, we can't close it, so we're just going to move on to the next one. And I know that because that was me for like my first 3.5 years. I knew there was a title commitment that was produced. But if there was like a dirty title, I would like follow title's instructions on here's what you have to do. But I never read the schedule A, B, and C. Like what? So do you have any advice as far as the title commitment and reading it, or is it just pretty straightforward? Like, hey, just read it and then go to title and ask them to explain what this is. That way you can have a clear path on how to get this done.
The first thing I'll say is for the first couple of years, I didn't really know what all was in the title commitment either. It was one of those emails that I got and didn't ever read and just called title and said, can we close? And 95% of the time they say, yeah, send in your LLC docs and let's close. Yep. So if folks don't really understand what all it is right now, don't beat yourself up. It took years before I even read the first one.
Same.
So I'll tell you, there are 4 schedules in a title commitment. There's a Schedule A that's basically identification. It says who owns the property, the price, the proposed sales price. Is it a title policy or is it a lender's policy? And then who's providing that policy? It's just kind of like some identification in the Schedule A. The Schedule B are exceptions from the title coverage. Remember, you're getting an insurance policy. So you actually get a commitment for your auto insurance. When you're getting car insurance, they send you one too. It just looks a little different. And what the auto insurance thing would say is we will only insure claims up to 100,000. They're excluding claims above 100,000 because your coverage doesn't cover you there. Well, in this case, the Schedule B says we'll insure everything except boundary disputes that don't show up on the survey, owners and claimed owners in possession of the property, instruments that would affect the title of the property that are unrecorded, things like that. These are things we don't cover, but you're going to ignore that one. The Schedule C is requirements to close. So some of the things on the Schedule C will be like LLC documents from the buyers and sellers, good funds, things like that. But a few of the things that we look at now at the bottom of the Schedule C usually are necessary affidavit of heirships, releases of mortgages, releases of judgments, deeds from other parties that haven't signed the contract because one owner signed and 5 others haven't. You need their deeds too. And then your Schedule D, those are disclosures that says who owns the title company.
Wait, what did you say C was?
Schedule C are requirements to close.
Did everybody catch that? So the actual requirements to close. Okay, all right. And then D?
D is just a bunch of disclosures. Who owns the title company? Who's getting money from the escrow fees and title insurance fees? Shit like that.
Yep. I love it. I love it. This is amazing. This is amazing. I love it. Okay, so we've read and put the pieces together. We've gone back to title, and title has expounded on where the dirt is on this messy deal that's hindering us from getting an insurance policy and proceeding with closing. And so where do we go from here?
So now that you've figured out what title problems are and identified them, next you're gonna have to solve them. So you're going to write your plan before you actually solve them, you're going to write up a plan, because that's going to let you know, is this going to be easy or hard? Is the juice worth the squeeze or not? Something I tell guys in my office all the time, once we got proficient, every title problem is solvable, every single one. But the question, once guys got good at it, they were taking every deal. And I'm like, this is a trash deal, guys. Why are we doing this? We can fix it. And I'm like, just because you could doesn't mean you should. Make 4,000? Fuck that. Let's do something else.
So real quick, I love this philosophy, right? And by the way, I want to say the first time I heard this was at your event when I was hosting it. Is the juice worth the squeeze? And this phrase must have been thrown around at least 100 times in this, 6-8 hours that we were there together. And so, what qualifies for a deal that is worth the squeeze, as it were? Is there a formula that you utilize for this, or is it just where you kind of use discernment and weigh the amount of work to the reward, or is it more formulaic? How do you come up with, okay, this messy deal is worth putting our overalls on and getting to work on it?
So that depends on your experience. That depends on your resources, things like that. In the early days, I would do these to make 25, 35, 40,000. If it was 50 grand, it was a home run. Today, unless I can make between 50 to 100 grand on it, I won't touch it. That's become the minimum, but that's got a lot of experience behind it. So here's what I tell people that don't have a lot of experience in this. Go through this process of figuring out what you think it's going to solve. What do you think it's going to take to solve the problem? You're going to ask your escrow officer. You're going to ask an attorney. You're going to have to pay him a couple hours worth of his time to ask him all these questions and get a little guidance. And then I would recommend you reach out to an expert. There are guys like me. We JV with people. You can email my office. We'll look at deals with you all the time. But there are a few other people around that you'll see on the internet that talk about doing it. Call one of them and say, what do you think it's going to take to fix this? And if you do that, now you can put together your scope of work. And in summary, it's going to be easy, medium, or hard. And if it's easy, you're going to want to do it for a lower fee. If it's medium, well, you're going to want a little bit more money. And if you're like, oh my gosh, there are 25 owners, are spread out across the United States, and oh my gosh, there's all this stuff going on, you're going to say, man, I ain't doing this for little money because it's going to take a lot of my time and maybe some money to invest with legal fees and some traveling and stuff. So that's an experience deal.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So writing out the plan is okay. What are the next steps that will be needed in order to actually curate this thing, and make this deal closable, and then you say advice. So what kind of attorney would I typically be looking for when I'm looking to overcome some of these deals?
The first place I would go, and this is how I met my first real estate lawyer, the title company that you're working with, ask them if they have a referral, and they're usually going to refer a fee office. And those are lawyers that spend most of their time supporting title companies. So just a lawyer fee office.
Lawyer fee office.
You know how like the title company, they'll have your deed ready for you, and sometimes you have to get documents. They have them all magically done. The person producing that is the lawyer fee office. And they're usually pretty well versed.
Man, y'all, listen, I need for y'all to drop some IG, YouTube, Facebook. I need for y'all to drop some, even link Twitch. I need for y'all to drop some fire emojis, man, because my boy is heating up. My man is cooking right now, dropping real actionable advice. This is why I love my man Logan, man. Always comes on here and over delivers. So I love that. Are there any other places that I would go? So dirty title, I'm typically going to go to the title company, ask for them to give us a referral to a fee office, a lawyer fee office where they might be able to help us to clear title. Where else can I go for advice to clear some of these dirty title issues?
You can get on the internet and Google search, real estate lawyer in your town. But there's so many of them. There's literally like the amount of different kinds of doctors there are. You got a foot doctor, a heart doctor, I don't know, a diabetic doctor, whatever. You have all that. Same with real estate lawyers. There are literally 50 different kind of real estate lawyers. So I would, that fee lawyer, if he can't help you fix it, he'll refer you to somebody who's in that kind of the business. Or I would ask someone else in real estate, hey, do you know a decent lawyer? Google, and it's going to be pretty hard to find it. They don't go into that level of detail in their marketing pages.
Yep.
So you don't have to go for a referral there.
Yep. I love it. I love it. Alex Inman, 7-figure earner in our community. I watched this man absolutely explode his business. He says he's right. Don't avoid deals with problems. That's where you learn the game.
There you go. Right.
100%. So what other instructions or advice would you have for us in terms of solving the for the dirty title?
You're at this spot now where you've got a pretty good idea of what's going to happen. What a lawyer's going to tell you is, oh, the person who signed your contract has 6 other siblings, and all you need is an affidavit of heirship. Now, it's just a simple problem. An escrow officer could have told you that back when, and you'd have tried it. But let's just pretend that's your problem. And then I'll use example, baby daddy, attorney general lien for child support. One of those heirs has an $80,000 or $90,000 child support lien. So that's your problem with a missing affidavit of heirship. Now that you understand this, you're going to talk to the lawyer, and the lawyer is going to say, look, affidavit of heirship will cost you $500 to $800 to get it drafted and executed. That's an easy solve. The attorney general lien for $90,000, you might be able to negotiate with baby mama directly and reduce it. You might be able to call the AG's office and get an exception because this is the person's homestead, and most judgments and liens don't encumber the sale of a homestead. Sometimes you can get it removed from your Schedule C just with a conversation. It's simple, but you might have to negotiate with the AG and either get the seller on a payment plan or reduce it, or it might be beyond its statutory life and it may be old and can just come off. But you're gonna figure out, like, what's my scope of work? And once that happens, this is the linchpin. This is the kicker to find out if you got a deal or not. You have to renegotiate. You've got to go back and trade the seller down because the lawyer might tell you, I can fix all this. It's going to cost $5,000 in legal fees. That's going to take me 5 months, probably, more or less. Now you know what your investment is. You know what your time frame is. And now is the retrade. Remember, this is only a $15,000 deal to begin with. So you're like, but this is where you make your margin. There are deals that people all over the place had these $10,000 to $20,000 deals, and I go make $100,000 on them. They're like, how'd you do that? The problem was identified, the deal fell apart, and time has passed. Now I go in and retrade. That's where you're going to find out. You're not here to make a deal. You're just here to find a deal. So if this person is willing to drop their price and willing to play ball with you, they're going to tell you. If they're not, I don't spend weeks of hard negotiation. I say, no one else is going to get this closed. If you change your mind and want to do it, hit me up. Otherwise, I appreciate your time. I'm not going to try to push you into something that's not right for you and put them in the 90-day follow-up category.
So let's talk about this. I want to delve in a little bit, Logan. What does this retrade sound like? So seller is expecting, in their mind, this is a dirty title issue, and there's just no way that the deal will sell. Like, let's kind of use that initial scenario. It's got 2 memos on it because 2 wholesalers previously had it. Each one, extended the contract 2 or 3 months, and now the seller's jaded. They don't want to work with a realtor. They know that the deal can't close. They've heard the same thing multiple times from 2 or 3 different title companies. They know what's going on. They know what's hindering title. So they have that expectation already. They're now in front of Logan Bentley Fulmer. You've wrote out the plan. You know exactly what it's going to take. The juice is worth the squeeze. And now they're in front of you, either on the phone, and now you're about to retrade. Can you just give us an idea of what this conversation sounds like?
Absolutely. This is one of my favorite parts. Getting the thing solved is the best because that's how you get paid. But the second part is trying to win this chess match. And it's very hard to convince a person their $200,000 property is only worth $40,000 today and for them to give it to you like that. But you feel like when you win, man, when you get it, like, it's an incredible feeling. I love it. So when you sit down, we're just going to talk about facts. And at first I thank them for their time, tell them, look, I'm going to try to draw up this fact pattern together. And you tell me if this timeline and fact pattern is accurate or if I missed some things. And the reason I want to know this, Mrs. Seller, is because we know this deal is falling apart and no one's been able to close it. And I know you're frustrated. I think I might have a shot at, and I'm willing to take a shot, but we got to try to see if we're on the same page. And these are deals that I do, but I just want to find out if this deal is going to work for me. And I don't know if it is yet. So let's do a little discovery. And
I hope you guys are paying attention to this. Yeah, there's so many nuances I want to break down, but we don't have the time. But I am living for this right here. This is really, really exciting, Logan.
what you got to do is you've got to build up all the problems in your head. And most people are like, the roof sucks, the foundation's bad, I got to remodel it. They're talking about me. I'm going to give the microphone to them. Why don't you tell me what all has happened? How long has it been since you've been trying to sell this? 4 years. Can you tell me what's happened in the 4 years? They're going to tell me all the problems. It's so much more powerful when they reiterate it and they tell it to you, because they're going to tell you how frustrating it is, how long it's taken, how hard it's been. They are helping you build this up to trade them down. They're doing the work for you. So you get them to run you through it all. And now you're going to interject with the information you've learned with the lawyer, the title company, and maybe some other experts in the field. You're going to use that information as they're talking and say, and get questions answered and really dial down. But you're going to have some technical information that you learned from those professionals that helps you figure out the title problems. And it helps to build some credibility. And they're going to understand that you're more of an expert than they are. And it's going to really sound like you got it down. So in a 10, 20-minute period, you can explain the problems, you can work through it, you're going to document it all. And sometimes you might learn things like there were 4 heirs, but one of them died and he had no kids. And you might not have known that before. So you really get all the details out. When that happens, I make a proposal that it's got some game to it, but it is 100% honest and 100% transparent. Mrs. Jenny, the seller, these are deals like I do. I think this is probably a project I'm willing to take on. The challenge is you and everybody else have been trying to fix this problem for 3 or 4 years and y'all haven't. So the odds of me getting it fixed aren't great. I could fail, but I'm willing to spend my legal money, or my money, on legal bills and private investigators and my own research and time. And, while Saturday night when you're watching TV, hanging out with your kids, I'm going to be driving to a different town and knocking on doors. So it's a big project, but I'm not going to be able to pay the amount of money that they were, because that doesn't make sense. I'm sure you can figure that out. I'm going to take your seat and do all this work. So I can't give the other price that you'd wanted in the past, and I'm going to give you another example. And I usually give the Cadillac example. I always tell them, hey, if you're taking a Cadillac to the dealership and it's 12 months old with 4,000 miles on it and it's perfect, it's a 10 out of 10, you're getting top dollar. What you're bringing to me is a 1985 Cadillac that's missing a tail light. It's got a flat tire. There's no windshield in it, actually, and it needs to be repainted. You're bringing me something that needs a ton of work. So I can't give you top trade-in value. I got to get that down because I got to do a lot of repairs to get it to that condition. Can you see the correlation? They always say yes. And that's when I go back and say, I'm probably willing to take this big risk and take on all this time at about a $50,000 spend. So my price is going to be around 50 grand. And there's some shock usually, and there's some responses, and half the time it's good. Half the time they're like, no way. And they say, can you give me 80? Can you, whatever, another number? And I say, look, there are tens of thousands of properties like this in our town. And I literally have appointments all week long talking to people about them. And I have to stay disciplined, because if I pay more and we find another error, I have to pay extra, or some other problem, or I have to hire a second lawyer for this, my budget can get out of whack and I lose money. And I don't want to do deals at a risk of losing money. So I need the safety. So if you want to work with me at this price point, I'm happy to do it. If not, there are other great projects just like it out there. And I'm not saying that to beat you up on the price or to put your property down, but I have to protect myself. And there really are a lot of deals like this out there. So it's up to you.
Man, I absolutely love that. Can y'all sense how it's very straightforward, it's very transparent, it's honest, it's respectful, it's tactical, it's systematic. It touches on, what I'm reminded of whenever you just walked me through how this retrade conversation goes.
Yep.
I got the sense of a doctor. how a doctor, whenever you go into the office, the doctor sits you down, you have the courtesies, and then there's the discovery that happens. Tell me about the pain. Talk to me a little bit about what's going on. And then, whenever you get to, oh, really, can you just expound? How does that hurt? Where does that hurt? How often does that happen? That must be a big deal. Is that keeping you from doing certain things? Like they're building up this, they're taking notes. And then whenever it comes down to like hitting them with like it looks like, this is your situation, this is the diagnosis, and the solution is X. And it's never what we want to hear, especially if we got a problem. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? What do you mean I got to be on this expensive medication for this long until this outcome? That's exactly what this reminds me of. So this is awesome. So let's say that the seller is not agreeable on the price. Will you haggle and negotiate and explain and expound, or what does that look like?
Usually not. I mean, this is where I start to set expectations with them, because there are going to be roadblocks and landmines. If you take this project on and you all agree to work, there are going to be a lot of other problems that you don't know about yet that'll happen. And if you're the kind of person that they believe is not set in stone and solid and firm and professional, they're going to be dragging you around by the tail for the next however amount of time it takes to get this done. So every once in a while, I'm willing to move up a hair on the price, because sometimes on a $50,000 offer, moving up $5,000 doesn't really move the needle if you're going to make 100 or 150, but it makes them feel like they got a little bitty win. I'll do that. But otherwise, I just tell them, hey, I respect your opinion and I totally understand. I would never pressure you into doing this. I'm not that sales guy. But I will tell you, the neat thing is I've just laid out the plan. I'm usually like writing it down on a piece of paper and stuff. I've laid out the plan for you to fix this. So if you get yourself, $3,000 to $8,000 in legal fee budget and go find this lawyer, the guy that I was going to call, he can help you walk through a lot of this, and then you can go make the big money. That's the plan. If you want to make the investment, you can do it too. I never push people in these deals, ever, because part of that is salesmanship and game, but part of the other truth is I got no competition hardly.
Yeah,
there are tens of thousands of them out there, and my schedule really is booked with people coming in with them. Mm-hmm. So I'm honest. If you want to work with me, I'll do it. If not, I understand. I just can't put myself in that much risk.
100%.
Let's talk.
Go ahead.
Let them leave, and I'll tell you 50% of the time, those that don't take the offer, I tell them, I understand. Our business will always be here. You're always welcome to call us back if you can't get it figured out. Dude, probably half those people call us back and do the deal. A lot of people are slimy and pushy and aggressive, and they use the car sales tactics on people, and it works. But when they come in, this is refreshing. It's professional. It's methodical. No pressure. If you want to do the surgery, you can do it. If you don't, we understand that's your perspective. And people come back and they're like, dang, all right.
I love this, man. So talk to me a little bit about this. We're coming up on time here in just a little bit, and you've already dropped so many practical, tactical, instructional nuggets for everybody. If you are just coming in right now, you got to go back and watch the replay on this. It'll be on YouTube, Facebook page, Facebook group, Facebook profile, IG, LinkedIn on the replay. With that said, Logan, can you give me a brief case study on if you had a license to brag, something we're around the campfire, we're sipping whiskey and smoking cigars, and we're telling our wartime stories, you know what I mean? And you just had a really, really dope deal that was pretty lucrative, and you kind of had a license to brag. Let's kind of take this 3-step process that you gave us of identifying the dirty title, solving for the dirty title, and then negotiating or retrading that turned out to be lucrative and just a really cool story. What could you give us as a case study to kind of piece this together?
I'll tell you a deal that I'm wrapping up right now. Absolutely. Okay. One of the guys in my coaching program, I run a really small, intimate coaching program, no more than 5-6 people in it at a time. We work this stuff every day. He, about 3 weeks ago, calls me. He's like, all right, got this guy on the line. Here's the deal. Long story short, a guy moved overseas and died over there. But the home that was left here, there was no will left. And the home that was left here was inherited by his stepdaughter, son, and then other daughter and son. So you had 3 children and a stepchild. Is how that worked. So we talked through this property. I don't know what the thing is worth, but the appraisal district says it's worth like 400 grand or something. And it had, what was the taxes on that one? 30,000 in taxes. So coaching students on the phone with them, the guy said, I tell him, look, you're only going to offer $5,000 for the first share. There are 4 shares. And yes, the property's worth a lot of money, but one of the people might live in a different country. No one's heard from her in 20 years. That could be a significant risk. And we just don't know what's out there. So he offers $5,000 to the first owner. They say yes. So this is a unique situation. I was buying these shares before without title insurance, so don't get distracted by that. But I picked up that share for $5 grand, sent a deed, a contract, a mobile notary, and a cashier's check, and they closed it the next day. Then she said, let me call my brother. Our family has a lot of problems. He'll take the same deal. So it was between $5,000 and $7,000 we paid for those 2 shares. That was 50%. Then there was another 25% that was in the Philippines. The neat thing is everybody around here knows a Filipino now because we're all working with VA companies.
Yeah.
So someone was able to identify her. I think we paid her about $10,000. She went to the consulate, got everything executed, get that back. The last guy didn't. He was very hard to deal with. And I just said, look, I'm going to partner with you. So we're going to go sell the property and you're going to get the share you own of the proceeds and we're going to get the other. So we own 75%, you own 25%. But since I paid the taxes or I'm paying them and I'm solving all these title problems, I want half of your share. That's my fee to you. And he said, okay. So he gets 12.5%. I get the other 12.5% of his 25%. Now we're at like 82.5%, I think is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We call a realtor out there because I was having a hard time with the valuation because it's unique. It's in Kerrville area, real cutesy little vacation area, 13 acres, 2-bedroom house. Realtor gives us a price. We're like, man, that can't be right. So then we call an appraiser and tell them, we're not a bank. Don't undershoot us. Just do the price exactly what you think it is. He appraised it at $495.
By the way, how much did that cost you to get it appraised?
Oh, $500, $600.
I love it. Okay. And so he gives you an appraisal for like almost $500,000, it's like 460 something?
At $495.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at this point, I'm all in for about 70 grand. And I get 82% of the proceeds. Bam. Yeah.
Wait, so y'all ended up closing on it?
So I own it and we list. Wait, what day is today? Friday? Or today Thursday? What day is today? Actually, it goes live today or Monday. Yeah.
Yo, that is so crazy, bro.
So this thing took about 30 days to round up the people, get affidavits. This one, the big kicker for this one was the family didn't communicate because they were all separated and hated each other and bad blood. So we had to negotiate everybody separately. We had to send a separate contract for each person because no one could see the other person's contract, proceeds, names, none of that. So we set 4 separate contracts. And then we had to go identify someone in the Philippines and get them to sign this off. Those are the real problems. But I'm going to be all in after clean out fees and cleaning fees and stuff for about 85,000. We sell for basically 500, so the net's going to be like 375. And that's
Yo, in this one deal, Logan will be clearing what most wholesalers make in like a year and a half, bro. That is wild.
So that's awesome. But what I want to tell you is the most common deal, like I went through and ran a bunch of averages and stuff, is a deal that sells for $250. That's what it's worth at market. We're all in for about 50, 60,000. And it had delinquent taxes and an additional one of these title problems. So it usually has 2, the delinquent taxes and one of these. That is the most common templated type deal. We're 250, we're all in for about 50, and we'll pay realtor fees, clean out fees in a little bit. But that's what it averages out to be. So a lot of people, when they want to start making bigger money, they say, I got to go to commercial, or I got to do bigger deals, or I got to take more risks. In this case, we're taking less risk and we're making substantially more money on the same price point.
Man, that's insane. I swear. After talking with Logan, he makes me want to become a title curator. You know what I mean? I want to join the ranks of dirty
So,
tile cleanup.
Aaron, here's what happens. Every time entrepreneurs like us hear a bright and shiny object, see a bright and shiny object,
Hmm.
they like take the blinders off and they just run towards it. And I
Hmm.
always want to encourage people, be smart, pay attention to what's going on out there, because this is how you pick up these special skills like the one you got right now. You were working at foot action or going to college or whatever the hell you were doing when you stumbled across the potential to wholesale and they dove right in. In
Hmm.
this case, if you're making money and things are going well, don't abandon what you're doing.
Hmm.
People always say burn the ships. I'm going to say don't burn the ships in this case.
Hmm.
What I will say is go find a couple of these in your CRM or get some referrals and try to iron out one or two while you're running your business. These deals don't take 8 hours a day. You work on it for a little while, you're waiting for something, you get that done. Run it as a pet project for the next several months. Just get one into your belt and see what it looks like. And you might find that you do a couple a year just like this to substantially increase your income on, as a pet project. Or you might say, dude, I need to hire a sales guy, an extra VA, and I want to run just one of these a quarter and whop and add another 200 to 500,000 to my business revenue.
Hmm. Man, that's insane. That's insane. Logan, we appreciate you. You always come and drop lots of value. Me and you are gonna be running another call tomorrow for our community where you're gonna be delving into this topic a little bit deeper. With that said, I'm really excited because we have me and my community are going to be at your event coming up in Dallas here shortly. And while this is not the purpose of this live, it's really excited. It's going to be an absolutely packed house. I'm imagining there's not even going to be standing room. So guys, anytime Logan does an event, it's just absolutely value packed. You end up leaving that event with your brain oozing out of your ears because there's just so much value. He's not a rah-rah kind of guy. He's a very, very tactical and practical kind of guy. So talk to us about what this event is about, because I know that my entire community is going to be there as well. And that way people who might not have heard about it, they can see if this makes sense for them to be in the room with us.
If you're in real estate or thinking about getting into it, this makes sense for you. This is not a rah-rah upsell, got a bunch of extra products. This is a technician type event.
Mm.
And what was the word I was using? Not mastermind. I just went blank. Dadgummit. It's more like an instructional event.
Like a boot camp sort of situation.
Maybe. Kind of feel like an idiot. I'm stuck on one single word. It shouldn't matter. But the point is, we're going to go through how I built this business, what it looks like to intentionally look for these deals, go find them, negotiate them, all the things we talked about, but in extreme detail. I'm going to talk about the programs and systems that we use or won't need to use. I'm going to talk about a one-man solo team or a group, a team, like a bigger team. We've done both of those. Basically, from the very beginning to the very end, I've also got how to negotiate the deals. Like I have a bunch of seller calls where we're negotiating and we get our deals cut. So we're going to be listening to that live with everybody. Or you get the same calls. They're like, get lost, go to hell, and hang up. And then they call back 4 months later. We have the second call where they're like, I'm willing to play ball. So we've got a lot of really, really good information. But my goal for you, everybody who leaves here, to say, I know enough about this that I can spot what the heck is going on and get it to a right person to make a lot of money on a referral fee, or I have enough confidence to try a couple of these on my own. And we're going to do about 10 case studies where we're showing all the documents, the instruments. We've got the recorded calls for them. I've got pictures of the property. I've got HUDs. So we're going to walk through everything. When you walk away, you will know what these deals look like and you will know what it takes to do the deal. And then you get to make the decision. Do I want to start doing these, or I'm just going to size up all the ones in my CRM and refer them to someone like me or a lawyer or whatever? But you will walk out with skills and completely understand this stuff.
Yep. Yeah, anytime Logan does something like this, I try to make sure that I'm in the room because, again, I kid you not, y'all, I think you did a Trek masterclass 3 years ago. Me and my executive team go to this class with our own trek forms and everything. To this day, I'm still using some of the items that we learned from you years ago.
Yeah.
We went to the curative title class that you did. Again, I had my transaction coordinator in that room. I made sure that my team was in that room. We're utilizing some of the things that we learned from that class, some of those notes that we took. So y'all, this is not one of those things where you're going just for the sake of networking. No, you're actually going for the sake of investing your time and energy to be in a room where you're actually going to be learning tactical, practical steps to apply the following day in your business. So where do we go to be able to find this this class?
If you'll go to my Instagram, just look me up, Logan Fulmer, just like it says down there, simple to find. There's no other people with my same name. So get on Instagram. I've been talking about it. I'm posting links to it. You can shoot me a DM and just ask for it. I've got just a quick outline of what we're going to do there in this sign up link. At the end of the day, dude, $550 is like people spend that on the weekend at bars. It's more
How
of a
long is the class?
workshop.
How long
That's
is
what I was looking for. Workshop.
Workshop. Yep. How long is the class, by the way?
This is all day. So we're going from, I think it's 9 o'clock in the morning until 5. The last hour is an expert panel with a bunch of my friends that are attorneys and some of the other high level operators doing this.
Listen, here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is not even a sell. It's not even a sell. This is complete honesty. If I'm doing a boot camp, this is me and what I teach. If I'm doing a boot camp all day, it's $2,500. The fact that Logan, the stature of who Logan is and the value that he's providing, knowing what he does, $550, it's kind of like he's prostituting himself out there. And this is with all respect to this man before us, because Logan is literally an OG. So I know you're doing this to give back to people, man, and thank you for doing what you're doing. I know it's going to be a jam-packed room. So go follow Logan on IG. And what I'm going to do, me and Logan did not talk about this, but I will sponsor 2 people to be in that room. So for any of my followers who are watching this, whether you're on the Facebook group, my Facebook page, the Facebook profile, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, IG, I want you to DM me what you need to do in order to qualify for this. You need to go follow Logan Fulmer on IG. All right, screenshot that you have followed him and or are following him. And then by the end of the day, I will choose 2 people to sponsor for this event where you can come for free. You can come sit with me and my team. And this is because I truly, sincerely rock with Logan Fulmer, man. If he does something, he asks me to do something, I'm immediately checking my calendar to see if I can be a part of it. And if I can't, then I want somebody in my team to be a part of it, because I selfishly want to soak up what this man has paid for in terms of resources, time, energy, and expertise. And Logan, we love you. My whole team loves you. My community loves you. And I'm sure the industry at large, I mean, you can tell, I'm sure people are in your DMs giving you praises and flowers. So we love it, man. With that said, what else? How do you want to end this live in terms of what is the final thought that you want all the people who right now we've had an average of about 130 people watching, which is really dope, because we did not do any marketing at all. We literally just hopped on this impromptu. There's been an average of 120 something people on this thing live across all platforms, which is really, really cool. With that said, for those on the replay land and those who are watching live, what's the final thought you want them to take from this live, Logan?
You know, it's a little more broad, I guess a broad topic, but I moved to San Antonio, made a post about this morning. I moved here like 8 years ago or something, moved into a 500 square foot apartment. I was just wrapping up my oil field work, and I just was trying to find my way. You know, that wasn't that long ago. It was 2015 is what it is. So that was 8-9 years ago. You know, today I own my office and industrial warehouse portfolio. I've got mortgage notes. I got, 20 people working with me in my office here. I got a beautiful family, like a ridiculous house. Like all of this stuff has changed for me, not so much in the first 3 or 4 years, but much more so in the last 3 or 4 years. And you look at that as a mountain that's just too great to climb, but it's not. Everybody here is so much more capable of what they would ever imagine. And everybody climbs that mountain one step at a time. You just got to take your first step and keep going. And I also say that if you look at these kind of deals, they look like they're complicated and they're scary, but it's not. I'm not any smarter than half of you guys out there. I just spent the time to sit here, think it through, and start working through them. So I encourage people to take a run at these. Literally, when people say one deal can change your life, hey, that's generally true. On these deals, one deal can change your life even more. So I encourage you to not let this stuff go. I ain't making any money on pointing in that direction. And even my event, I usually don't net much. It's getting everybody together, building this community, getting people to do deals together. Full disclosure, I get great referrals out of that too.
Sure.
But I encourage people to get going. Look at the hard stuff, the stuff that you think is hard, it's not. Figure this out, because you can, whatever you have right now, you can have so much more in such a short amount of time. So don't sell yourself short.
And get your butt in that room, y'all. Do not let $550 keep you from being in that room, because I'm telling you right now, those who are in that room are the ones that matter. And I say that in the context of you know, those who want to invest in themselves and take their business to the next level. I love it. I love it. Logan, we appreciate you so much. Keep crushing the game. And until next time, it's your boy Aaron Bevins and the one and only Logan Bentley Fulmer. And I need for you guys to drive safe, because people out there cannot drive. They crazy. Brush your teeth. And for God's sakes, don't slap nobody, y'all. Much love. Let's get it.
We made it, that's facts, ayy. We the greatest, that's facts, ayy. Prices raising, that's facts, ayy. That's right. But we paid it, that's facts, ayy. I did. They hate it, that's facts, ayy. Cause we changing, that's facts, ayy. We did. Can't blame them, that's facts, ayy. Cause we made it, that's facts, ayy. Cherry on top, that's a goat, yeah. Where you been, I wanna know, yeah. Greatest story ever told, yeah. Greatest story ever told, yeah. I know you wanna look up for this.